Welcome, everybody, and we just would like to welcome you to this information session tonight on a company called Life Vantage and a new science called nutrigenomics. So good evening to everybody in the UK and in Ireland. Good morning to everybody in Australia and New Zealand. And I know we have some American guests on here as well, so I believe it's afternoon over there. Tonight, three of us are going to share some information with you. My name is Clohessy, and Dr. Gail Pearson and Grainne Fletcher are also going to be part of this webinar with us. I'll just tell you a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Clohessy. I'm Irish, as you can tell. I live here on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. I'm married with two children, Luke and Ellie. They're 21 and 24. And I've been a clinical nurse for 34 years. So I did my training in London, and some of my friends might be on here. They'll remember that. And then I worked in England, came to Australia, actually went back to England, went and nursed in the States for 5 years, back to Ireland for 9, and then we emigrated back to Australia 13 years ago here to the Sunshine Coast. So I've always been actively in a clinical role. So at the moment, I work 2 jobs. I'm a clinical nurse for Ramsay Healthcare, and I also am clinical director or director of clinical services for an orthopedic group here on the coast. So I'm pretty busy. But my passion has always been health and wellness. And while I love my nursing job, 3 years ago, I was introduced to a product and this product and this company. And while I was a little bit skeptical at first to look at something like this, I was told that, this product could change people's lives. So the curious part, the nurse in me was really interested in this. So I did a quite extensive research on this. And at the end of the day, science doesn't lie. So I discovered we had 25 peer-reviewed studies that were published on PubMed.gov. And if you don't know what that is, it's like the National Institute of Health in the States. So it's a database that they use. So the thing that really excited me was that these peer-reviewed studies had been done by universities in the States. So none of them were done by the company themselves. So that had a real truth for me. So after I did quite an extensive amount of research, I have been one of the co-founders to launch this product and this company into Australia 3 years ago. And we have certainly changed lives. While we're on that, I just really want to make a disclaimer here tonight before everybody that anything we say tonight about our company and our products, we cannot claim to treat, cure, mitigate, or prevent any disease. So my only thing that I would ask you to do tonight is to just listen with an open mind. We have got I'm going to introduce you in a moment to Dr. Gail Pearson, who is going to explain all about this to you. When I heard about this, I didn't understand about oxidative stress or free radicals or any of this, even though I had my nursing background. So it's a very interesting concept to listen to. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Gail Pearson. I'll just tell you a tiny little bit about her. Gail is a New Zealand-trained anaesthetist who has worked in private practice for over 25 years. Her interest is mostly in short-stay surgery, and that's purely because the patient has a better outcome. Her background is in physiology and pharmacology, so she's well-versed with this. She has been at the leading edge of new anesthetic drugs and embracing them with enthusiasm, often before other people have even heard about them. Her specialties are laparoscopic work. Her interest is in ophthalmology and orthopedics, but she also has a huge interest in hospital startup, design and management, and she's been on the board of one of the largest hospital boards in Auckland. She's also been chairperson on one of the largest group of anesthetic boards there as well, so she's very well qualified. She is married in New Zealand. She's got a partner, or her husband, who's a surgeon, and I know she's got quite a few two-legged and four-legged children, and she travels the world internationally with her husband, where they actually do quite a lot of pro bono work in rural Brazil, and also demonstrating surgery and anesthesia in places such as Bali, Bangkok, Tokyo, and India. So she has a passion for things she believes in, and she's got a very open mind to healing modalities. So when she was introduced, as I was, to the NRF2 pathway, she also took her quite a while just to do the research into this, because she really had to believe and understand what it did. So she could easily then see what this product was doing for health and wellness and for anti-aging. So she is going to take it over now and explain about the NRF2 pathway and our products.
Thank you, Una. That was delightful. And I really don't need to say any more because you've said it all. So what I'm going to do now, people, is just to go on to sharing a slideshow with you to give you some information about some new words that you're going to hear about today that you may well have heard before, but really not understood. And what I hope to do today is to give you a little bit more insight into what those words mean and how they all fit together and how we can actually generate health, wellness, and anti-aging for everybody. So I'm just going to come into my presentation now. Here we go. Okay, so I call my presentation Biohack My Life, or Biohack Your Life. And basically what I'm talking about is optimizing your body, mind, and performance by altering your gene structure. Now, you might not understand, but your genes are part of your DNA. So your DNA, which we all know about, is made up of genes. So just to go a little bit, sorry. So this is me. Now, as you can see at my workplace, I'm very privileged because I work in pajamas every day, but I'm surrounded by monitors. I monitor people's heart rate, their oxygen, their carbon dioxide, the gases, their respiratory function, etc. I give a lot of intravenous drugs, and I can very quickly determine what it does to people's physiology in terms of their heart rate, their blood pressure, etc. So I get a very quick response in terms of what my anesthetic drugs do to a patient. And I see that response afterwards as well with people. So I see what the outcome of my anesthetics are afterwards and the outcome of what medications that I've used to give them. And as Una said, I've been to the forefront of a lot of new anesthetic drugs, and when I've introduced them, I've looked at them. I'm a very keen observer, and I look very carefully at people. And I have seen what effects can happen to people with certain medications. And I say this to my colleagues, and they say no. Well, 10 years down the track, they're then everyday practice. And this has happened not just one, this has happened with at least 5 or 6 different anesthetic drugs that I can actually recall. So I've had a skill of being able to figure out what's good and what works and who it works for. So that's my background in terms of how I saw where this all fits. Now today, as Una mentioned, we're going to be talking about nutrigenomics. And nutrigenomics means you're taking control of your own biology. Now, it's really simple word. It's a very simple word, nutrigenomics. Nutri is the nutrition part. Genomics is the gene part. Put them together, and we've got the interaction of nutrition with your genes or your DNA. So we can actually use food or food compounds or substances at the gene level. It's topical. It's coming up in all of the magazines. This is in New Zealand this year. Time magazine, DNA is not your destiny. People are talking about this at the moment. This is a new wave of medicine. This is the new way that we are going to be moving forward in terms of treatment of diseases and illnesses. So remember, I was talking about DNA. You've got 2 strands of DNA. You have one from your mum, one from your dad. So you have 23 pairs, but only 20% of this is expressed. 80% actually lies dormant, and we don't actually use it. But we have the ability to access that, and that's what we call biohacking. That's accessing our own DNA. Let's have a look at what your genes look like when you're young, less than 10, for example. All the genes are all nicely, you're all the same level, all great. You fall over, you jump back up again, fine, you don't even even actually know that you've bruised or anything like that. Your resilience is great. You bounce back from injury, great. What happens when you start to get just a little bit older? Well, when you get into your 20s, the fall's a little bit harder. When you get into the 30s, the fall's even a little bit harder. And as you progress, that same fall that you did as a 10-year-old actually gets worse. What's happening there? Why don't you bounce back as quickly? Why don't you get, come back to how you were as a 10-year-old? This is why. Because when you get older, your genes change. Your gene expression changes. So you no longer have a flat playing field. You have genes that are overexpressed and you have genes that are underexpressed. And that's called aging. And I want to just go back to that one again, because if we look at something like this one here, this may well be a gene for atherosclerosis that you might have got from your father. Now, if you have good, healthy exercise and you eat well, maybe that gene might only be expressed to here. So you've actually managed your gene pretty well. But the problem is you always have that overexpression of an atherosclerotic gene. So what happens is that some of your genes are overexpressed, the good ones are underexpressed. And what we'll look at the NRF2 pathway, we'll have a look to see what that actually does to those genes. The NRF2 pathway is the way that we biohack. How do we do NRF2 activation? Now, Washington State University in 2015 said that it may well be the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. We haven't had anything like this. We haven't had anything like this since the age of penicillin. This is huge. We know it's huge. People like Michael J. Fox, who has Parkinson's disease, has spent millions on investigating and putting into research on the NRF2 pathway. The NRF2 pathway is now a catchphrase. This was something that I did not learn in medical school. We didn't learn about NRF2. It just was not invented at this stage. So it is new, it is powerful, and it is the way of the future. I want to show you a little bit with NRF2 activation. Now, if we look at these graphs here, which all look a little bit complicated, but basically this is the degree of NRF2 activation. So this is no activation, and this is lots of activation. This graph here shows sulforaphane, which is made of broccoli and kale. This is what it does to the NRF2 pathway. So we see that's pretty good in terms of making your NRF2 pathway act. And we know that broccoli and kale and green veggie, leafy veggies are good for you. So that's great. This is a drug called Tecfidera, which they use in multiple sclerosis. Now, again, that's even better on the NRF2 pathway. Remember, this is increasing. This is the NRF2 pathway, and it actually looks pretty good. This is a drug that they use in multiple sclerosis and is extremely expensive. I know in New Zealand, when it's fully subsidised, it's over $2,000 per month, and it's not used for every patient. But what I want you to look at is this one up here. Remember, increasing NRF2 activation? Look how much this is. This is the product I'm going to talk to you about. And this is the ability that we have got with a natural product. This is a pharmaceutical product. This is a natural product. Amazing stuff. What I'm going to talk to you today is about 3 of the 400 genes that are NRF2 responsive. We know that there are about 19 atherosclerosis genes that are NRF2 responsive. We know that there are about 28 carcinoma of the colon or cancer of the colon genes that are NRF2 activated. And we know there are 66 Alzheimer's genes, which are also NRF2 activated. But today I'm going to talk just about 3 of them. And these 3 are complicated names: superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. But before I do that, I want to show you the link between the NRF2 pathway and oxidative stress. This will all come together once we sort of put all the jigsaw puzzles together, but it seems a little bit fragmented at the moment, but you'll understand why in a minute. What I'm going to talk about, what the causes of oxidative stress are, what happens to the body, what happens with the imbalance of oxidative stress, and how do we correct oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is basically rust of your cells. You know that when you put an apple outside and you leave it in the air, it goes brown. That's the oxygen getting inside. It forms free radicals in the cells of the apple, and the cells go brown and eventually rot. Well, actually the same happens in our cells, except we can't see it. We don't turn brown like an apple, but we basically rust inside. So what causes this oxidative stress? Well, we live in a toxic environment, and we can't get away from that, no matter how much organic food we try and eat, how many organic products we use. There are toxins from the airwaves, from Wi-Fi. There are toxins from the products that we use on our body, in our homes, the chemicals. There are toxins in our food, herbicides, pesticides. There are toxins in our emotions. There are toxins in our relationships. There are toxins from us doing over-exercise or under-exercise. So we can't get away from it, and it's a reality of life, and we all know that the quality of life at the moment for most people is not great. Something's happening. People are getting sicker and they're dying younger. And we've got to understand why this is happening and what we can actually do about it. What happens when you're older is you no longer have the oxidative enzymes that are capable of stopping this oxidative process. So it becomes out of balance. So the definition of oxidative stress is when the amount of oxygen-free radicals exceeds the capacity to neutralize them, and that's called oxidative stress, and that's what we have next. What happens on the body? Well, it affects every single cell, tissue, organ, and system of the body. We can look at the brain, fatigue in the brain. We can look at the skin, changes in skin texture, moisture, narrowing of the arteries of the heart, changes in your microflora in your gut, decreased immunity, increased cortisol, and muscle protein breakdown. Oxidative stress affects your whole body. So when you were at medical school, we learn about diseases, and we learn about how to treat diseases, and we learn from the outside in. So we look at something, for example, like blood vessels, atherosclerosis, hypertension. We treated this area here. To me, it always seemed sensible, and it didn't seem quite right that we should only be treating at this level. Why can't we treat at this level out? Why can't we come from the inside out rather than coming from the outside in? And that's where the NRF2 pathway comes in. We know that inflammation and oxidative stress causes and is responsible for all of these conditions. You just need to Google oxidative stress and disease, and you'll come up with thousands and thousands of entries. It is responsible for all of our conditions these days. So what we've got to do is see, how can we address this? Okay, well, we can have a healthy lifestyle. We can eat plenty of fruit and vegetables. We can take antioxidant supplements. That's great. And a lot of people do, and that's really great, but it's not enough. So my question is, why should we take them when we can actually make them ourselves in each individual cell? Let's have a look at how effective we can actually make them in our own cells. If we have food, we can do it on a one-to-one basis. If we have an NRF2 activator, 1,000,000 to 1. So if we wanted to have the same amount of food to have the same effect as the NRF2 activator, we'd be looking at, per day, eating 375 oranges, 7 pounds of broccoli, or 11 pounds of blueberry, or 80 glasses of red wine. So that is the degree of nutrition that we would need to get a comparable effect to one NRF2 activator per day. It's a lot. These are the three main antioxidant enzymes that we are working on. Glutathione reduces by about 1% per year. We can increase glutathione peroxidase by 300%. This is really, really important in athletes. athletes use up glutathione like there's no tomorrow, and they can't replace it. You cannot take it orally. You have to make your own. And what the glutathione peroxidase is enables you to make your own glutathione. SOD is superoxide dismutase, and catalase. They are both antioxidant enzymes that counteract oxidative stress. Are you really healthy? How do you know what's going on in the inside of your cells? And the answer is you don't. If I look at someone and they say, I'm fairly healthy, and then I take their blood pressure and their blood pressure is way, way high, I know that that person's not healthy. So we have got to actually get down to the genetic level and know that we're healthy. We've got to have that insight to say that, yes, we're doing everything we possibly can, but we can't do it externally. We've got to do it internally as well. So nutrigenomics is all about activation, not supplementation. Supplementation is guessing. They don't have product-specific research, and as Una said, we've got 25, 26 PubMed published studies on this product alone. Supplements don't tend to have quality control. And do you know what the end result is with these supplements? And the answer is no. We've got scientific studies that have showed that these products reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, and this is done on blood test. So this is not just something that we've plucked out of the air. This is really, really important stuff. Fox News has come to the party. Nutrigenomics is changing everything. Where we once thought we were powerless is now an area over which we at least have some control. The ability to use nutrition to change our genes means that we are no longer at the mercy of our DNA. So these are the studies that Una was mentioning. You can go on pubmed.gov and have a look at all of these studies. A lot of them are in vitro studies and a lot of them in animal studies, but I've looked through virtually all of them and they're very sound, and this is what convinced me even before I started the product. So how do we biohack? Let's look at this. We can use Protandim NRF2. This is the supplement or the activator that works at the cellular level on the NRF2 pathway. This, as I said, has been shown on blood testing to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. That's huge. And they've done it in a number of people. One of the tests was done in over 30 people that they did this with. So you might say, well, that's all very well. What's in it? They're all natural ingredients. It has turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, and ashwagandha. Now you might say, well, I already take some of these, so why should I bother taking this? This seems exactly the same. I take turmeric all of the time. Well, that's great. Well, they did a study and they took all of the individual ingredients and then they took Protandim, which is the combination in specific levels of each of them. The individual compounds were much less active than all of them put together in Protandim. Protandim is 18 times more effective than the individual compounds. 18 times. So you cannot do your own sort of mix and match. It doesn't work. This has been scientifically proven that this is the best combination. So you might say, well, that's all very well, but what does it do? And these are the effects that you will feel often reasonably quickly, often subtly. And people have different varying responses to it. But most people find that their sleep is better and they don't sleep for longer, but the sleep is deeper. The pain is reduced in the body. So when you get up in the morning, you don't have so many aches and pains. People's mood seems to be lifted. They seem to be able to cope better with their liver function, and their digestive system seems to improve. And it protects against oxidative stress because you're making your own antioxidant enzymes. The second biohack is the Protandim NRF1. Now this is an adjunct to NRF2. This one works on the mitochondria. Now, as you might remember from your high school days, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And I liken it to a battery. And if your battery goes flat or if it gets damaged, you get the car doesn't go, or you get cell death, or you get cell mutation. If you get lots of cell mutations after cell mutations, that leads to a lot of abnormal cells, and we all know what abnormal cells lead to. So what this does is it supports the mitochondria. This one here is made up of alpha-lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, grape extract, and quercetin. So again, all natural products, all put together in specific combinations. What does the NRF1 do to you? As I said, it repairs and replenishes your mitochondria. This is a really important thing to do for anti-aging, and it works at a cellular level in every single cell in your body. It improves your general well-being, and it's 100% gluten-free, wheat, dairy, yeast, and all of those. Together, we call it a dual synergy or a double punch. The NRF2 actually aids the NRF1 to get into the mitochondria so that it can do its work even better. And the two of them together are an amazing product. I mean, I know personally I've been on this product for only 3 months, and the difference is phenomenal. The difference in my sleep, the difference in my motivation, the difference in no brain fog in the afternoon, endurance from exercise. It's different. This is different to anything I have ever been on before in my life, and I think that's what I want to. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I believe in this, and I believe it's a game changer, and I believe that everybody should be on this. I believe that this is something that is going to change medicine of the future. It is going to change health and well-being. It's going to change anti-aging, and that's why I want everybody to know about this. So I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should NRF2 and NRF1 activated. Remember, we talked about oxidative stress and the toxic environment. It's not going away. You can't do anything about it. We're stuck with it. And as I showed you, nothing else, be it food, drugs, or supplements, have shown that they can actually present a 40% reduction in oxidative stress. As I told you, you can't consume enough to be able to get the same effect as what Protandim can give you. Glutathione increased by 300%. This is really, really a biggie. Deep, restful sleep without drugs. We get down regulation of the inflammatory genes. We only have to take it once a day. And the relationship between food and antioxidants, 1,000,000 to 1 versus 1 to 1. One of those studies showed a 7% increase in the lifespan in mammals. It was actually mice. And the important thing to know is that what we're trying to do is in humans is not increase the lifespan, but to increase the quality of life, so that when you have your life, you use it how you want to use it rather than being crippled by conditions and diseases. And it's cost effective. It's less than a coffee a day. And I just want to also emphasize, as Una also said, that this product is a natural product. It is not a medication. You don't have to have a doctor's prescription. But it does not prevent, diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. We cannot make any of those claims. There are a lot of testimonials out there, and you can read a lot of those testimonials, but there is no links to any diseases. So today I hope I've talked to you a little bit about biohacking, nutrigenomics, and NRF2 activation. And it's all pretty overwhelming when you first hear it, and people say, oh, I'm not sure if I understand this. But once you start to hear it again and again, you'll start to understand the concepts, and you'll start to see how it really does make sense. And it really does make sense to have health from the inside out. Thomas Edison said, the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but will rather cure and prevent disease with nutrition. And I want to be a doctor of the future. I don't want to be a doctor of the past. I want to be open. I want to be one of those doctors who said, listen, yes, I've got this armamentarium of whatever I can use. And if I think that this is the best thing since sliced bread, then I want everyone to be on this. The company Life Vantage has extended this range to skincare. And no one else has done NRF2 activation for your skin. And again, I hate to be jumping up and down, but this skincare is phenomenal. The changes in skin tone, skin texture, anti-wrinkles, the effects come very, very quickly, and I cannot praise this highly enough, the skincare. It's beautiful stuff. It's NRF2 activated. Again, it's been scientifically proven, and we have all the studies that show that. This is another really great product that this company is providing. And lastly, Hippocrates, early on, very, very early on, one of the great Greek physicians, said all diseases begin in the gut. So Lifevantage has brought out a probio. And what this probio is different to any of the other probios that we've ever had that have come out into the health shops. It acts much better in terms of giving active bacteria where they are meant to be and changing your gut flora. And the gut flora is a really important place to be healthy. So what Lifevantage has done is created products with NRF2 activation, Protandim 1, Protandim 2, the skincare range, and the probio. So they've got a vitality stack, and the vitality stack is there to make you feel better, make you feel more alive, make you feel more energetic, and make you feel as if you really, really, really want to get on with life in this world. So I'm going to stop my share there, Una, and I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gail. That was absolutely fantastic. And I think what we can all take from that is that everybody needs it and nobody can escape oxidative stress. So that was the biggest thing that got me interested in this company, as I told you before. And now I am very proud to be an active distributor, and we're hoping to really impact lives now. We've recently launched in Ireland and at England as well. So just two little things that I want to say to you. We're going to just talk a tiny little bit about the business side of this as well, just for a few moments. And even though I came in as a distributor just because of the product, as a nurse, I didn't go into nursing for money. So I'm very proud to say that I actually do earn income from this company. It's just the exact same. I liken it to Avon or Tupperware. You're just sharing a product, sharing a vision with people. And it's inevitable that you actually do get paid for this because we're sharing high-class products. We've got very low overhead so that, the products are less costly than pharmaceuticals, at least. So I'm going to hand you over to Gee in a moment now. I'll just tell you a little bit about her. Gee is Irish also. She's from Limerick, and she has been in Australia for 30 years. She lives here on the Sunshine Coast with her husband, Darren, and her two children, Ruby and Harry. And she's pretty much been an entrepreneur all her life. So she's had a recruitment agency in the past, and her husband have got a dental company up here on the Sunshine Coast. So her passion, though, has always been health and wellness as well. And a couple of years ago, she really went on a quest because her husband has got an autoimmune disease, and she really was looking for something that could help him. So she was actually the person that found this product and here in Australia and introduced me to it. So she is now one of the top leaders in Australia and also in the UK with Lifevantage. So she's just going to share, just for a few moments, a little bit about the business side of this, if anybody is interested. Thank you, Gee.
Okay, thanks so much, Una. Yeah, do you know what the amazing thing is? What I love about this business is I get to go to work with my bestie. Like, Una is my best friend. I was never ever going to work in a hospital. So I was never ever going to work with her. And we've managed to travel the world, and we're just on a mission at the moment. And our biggest mission is that we've seen what this product has done for Australia. We have 3 years. When we started out, we had nothing. We had just, I call it that we were enthusiasm on fire is better than knowledge on ice. And that was us. I didn't understand. I'm not a health and wellness person. I'm not like these two, but geez, I'm Irish and I have a mouth. And like, if you tell the Irish something good, and if we believe in it, you don't need any radio station. We'll just go and tell everyone. And that was me. I really believed in this product, and I just said, man, if I can even help my husband. And now he was the biggest skeptic going. He was like, what a load of rubbish. You telling me this thing is going to maybe help that? And I'm like, shut up and take it. I'm your wife. And he took it. And after 2.5 months, he said, something, yeah, this little yellow pill's doing something. And I'm just like, sorry. And he said, you know what? I don't feel as stressed. He said, I feel better. He's out on the soccer pitch 3 nights a week. He's at the gym 5 nights a week. I'm getting this guy with a 6-pack now at 52, you know, because he feels the best he's ever felt in his life. And that's what happens. Once your body is activated and you're feeling so good, you can't help but go out and want this for everyone else. And that's what happened to us. We wanted it for everyone else. And 3 years on, New Zealand is opening and Ireland is opening, and Gail's a Kiwi, so she's like, I'm passionate about changing the world. Me and Una are, and we're passionate about the UK and Ireland getting to hear this, because we've seen what it's done for people's lives over here. So if you bear with me for a few minutes, I just want to show you who the company is, because I would not align myself. You've heard these 2 women. We're not going to align ourselves with something dodgy. This company is at the forefront. So I'm going to give you a small little bit of history about the company and where they're going. So just bear with me while I share my screen here. Okay. Why is that? Okay. There we go. So yeah, my name is Grainne, yeah, but because I lived over in Australia now for nearly 30 years, you try and get the Aussies and that to try and spell that one out and see what they come up with. It's definitely not Grainne, yeah. So I changed my name to Gee and live up on the Sunshine Coast, but love going back to Ireland. Like, oh my gosh, I have an Irish heart. So who is Life Vantage? So Life Vantage started in 2003, just as a normal little science biotech company. They were NASDAQ traded. That is a very important thing. The company is NASDAQ traded. So they have huge strict guidelines that they have to implement all the time. The company at the time, it was back in 2005, they were in biotech. They were just got little bottle of Pretendum out in the GNC stores, which is just our, you know, health stores. They were selling about half a bottle a month. And it's because no one knew what oxidative stress was. Gail didn't really know what it was. Una didn't. When I dialed a friend and said, Una, give me the whole rundown on oxidative, she didn't know what it was. Nobody knows, so nobody was buying the product. And then an ABC investigative report came out. It aired, showing that they had found the secret to aging. And of course, 5 million in sales came in. Sure, they couldn't cope at all. There was a few scientists there. You know, these guys didn't even have, you know, a call center. So they never fulfilled the sales, but they recognized what happened in that time was universities came to them, and a few scientists in universities saw that investigative report and said, we'd like to start doing some studies on your product. So that's where our study started, was from that ABC investigative report. 4 years later, they tried their hardest to try and get it out there, but nothing was happening. And they got a marketing consultant who actually said, what you need to do is join the people-to-people industry. And they said, what's that? And they said, basically, people take this product, they go on it, they have a story, and they go and tell their family and friends. That's people-to-people. A robot can't do that. Amazon, I just found out yesterday, has let go 3,000 people because they have a machine that can do what them people were doing. You can't say that with a bottle like this. So they went down the people-to-people industry 10 years ago. We've just got our 10-year anniversary this month. And what happened was the company went from 11 million to 200 million. And now we're on track to be $1 billion company in the next 3 to 5 years because we've got the right corporate team at the helm. So that is what is different about LV and our products. So what is the world trends? What is it that we're doing? Well, everyone knows now. I was in America with Una. I've been in New Zealand. I just got my Uber, got my app, came up the stairs, went into a taxi. I never even changed the money when I was in New Zealand. I didn't have to. Never had New Zealand. I don't even know what it looks like. Use my card and use my apps, And that was it. I was off and I was ready to go. That is the future. Uber doesn't own a car. Airbnb don't own accommodation. They don't own a bed. So what we're doing is be your own boss. I don't have stock. I don't have a building. I just got me and my phone and my computer. And I go and tell people all over the world about this incredible natural product that I've seen that has changed people's lives. And to me, being an entrepreneur, it excites me so much to actually have this, because it enables me to be with my kids. This is exciting. Last week, Erin Brockovich, Julie Roberts, we all know her, we all love the movie. She joins us, our company, as a board of directors. Hallelujah, a woman is actually on our board. I'm so excited. And what she said was, this is a company I have admired at arm's length for some time. It's a company with strong momentum, not just in the US, but globally. In today's world, actively managing our health has never been so vital. How exciting is that she has come on board, and I'm so excited to see what she's going to do. What has happened to our company this year? We have had explosive growth. 2018, this is because we've had a whole incredible new corporate team that joined 4 years ago. China and 7 new countries opened up last year. This year, 6 new countries have opened. Ireland opened on the 1st of May. Belgium is opening on the 1st of June. Spain opened the 1st of April. Europe is opening, guys. Who do you know in these countries? It is our 10-year anniversary at the moment in just now, the 18th of May, it turned Lifevantage's 10-year anniversary in network marketing. Look what's happening to our shares. We have tripled our share price in the last year. I want to just pull up. These are the top owners of Lifevantage shares. And before you ask, no, I haven't bought any yet. And yes, I am kicking myself, but I've applied for an international share account and I'm going chasing the bank today for it. I want to highlight to you BlackRock Fund Advisors, one of the leading fund advisors. They now have nearly $3 million in shares in Lifevantage. Renaissance Technologies, they are at the leading forefront of technology. They have come in, they own 7.74%, nearly $13 million worth of our shares. You want to look and see where the future is, you go and see where these guys trade. And they have just kept buying and buying our shares in the last quarter. That's exciting. So the timing, what is the timing? What does this even mean? So you see here, innovators, that's pioneers. That is what we did 3 years ago. When I joined, I just rang up Una and I went, oh my gosh, no one knows about it in Australia. This could be our plan B, Una. This could be the thing that helps us to be able to leave a legacy for our children. I know you want to go to the missionaries and go on the mission trips over in Africa. We support heavily Water for Africa. I have a passion for youth. I said this can be the vehicle that's going to enable us to really do our dreams and impact the world. So we started off as a pioneer. The company has not hit momentum yet. What momentum means is basically in the next 3 to 5 years, I believe this is going to happen because NRF2 activation is becoming more and more widely known. And what are people going to do? Well, what was the first natural NRF2 activator that's been out there? Protandim, the first natural science-backed activator that has been out there. Now, I just want to highlight to you, New Zealanders and Ireland and things, where it is on the chart. So you see the X, that's where America is. You go back to the small little green thing, that's where Australia is. You go back even further, that is where you are. What it means when you actually go to that curve, it means that we normally have 80% growth with 20% of our people. Most people will join at the, I'm just going to go back a sec. Most people are going to join up here where it says momentum. That's when most people start to join. You come in now, you will create a legacy for your family that will carry on for generations and generations. There is children in Amway and in Avon, that great-great-grandchildren that are earning $20,000, $30,000 because of what great-great-grandma did. Wouldn't you like to be one of them? Wouldn't you like to leave a legacy for your children and their children? And that's what it is when you become an innovator and when you become pioneer. And that's what excites me. So how do you get started? We all know you need to be a customer. First and foremost, you got to be a customer. If you want to take a look at the business, great. If you don't, that's fine. You've got to be a customer. No fees to join. Monthly orders are at your choice, but I highly recommend you go on a monthly order because Protandem is a month for every decade you've been on Earth. Now, you have not built up 40, 50 years of oxidative stress and go, I'll give it a go for a month. I'll see how it goes. It's not going to work. It may work. I've had people that have rang me, Jesus, I can feel something. 2 days. I'm like, are you kidding me? Everybody is different. So respect that everybody is different. So it's going to affect us all. So I will always recommend to everyone a month for every decade. So go on the auto ship because the prices are heaps cheaper. You can cancel instantly. It's an email. It generates instantly. NRF1. I'm on the whole activated essentials, the NRF2, 1 and ProBio. Phenomenal. I've never had energy like this in my entire life. We've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. It is now 6:10 here, and I don't think we look too bad. We've got great energy, and the true science actually really does work. My kids are on it. They're the only ones without pimples. It really works. Or you come in on as a distributor. You end up getting a pack with all these products. So you can, look, I said, the Irish, they just want to give it all away. You know, it's like Uncle John, da-da-da-da-da. That's what we do. But what it allows you to do is be able to say to someone, right, get started right now. Here's one in my cupboard or in my handbag. And then go on an order ship. So you get a collection of all our products to try, which is great. And then what you get in your packs, you get advertising, websites, corporate, you get a multi-million-dollar business when you have a pack. Now, every pack is differently priced and every product that's in there is different depending on the country. So get back to the person that actually brought you or introduced you tonight to come along and to let you know about it. But just to let you know, have a look at this. You can actually go on Google and go, Life Vantage Income Disclosure Statement, and it has to be there because we are on NASDAQ. So we are an audited company. So check this out. Pro 5, you know, there is some, Gail is she's only been here in the company a few months. I say to people, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But if you come on the journey with us, I've been with Life Vantage now for 3 years. If you come on the journey, you learn, you put in some time, and you share this, and you're one of the first, you can. I am Pro 8 now. Una is a Pro 6. Gail has only been with the company 3 months. She's Pro 5. But she's had 20 years as a doctor, you know, to get her that trust in that and that rapport that she has. So everyone's journey is different. But hey, what would it be like to have an extra 580 US in your bank every month? That would pay for your car, might pay for your holiday. But if you decide, make a decision, I'm in for 3 to 5 years, and you will see massive changes in your finances, but in your health as well. 3 years I've been on this product. We have, I think you'll agree the timing's right. We're NASDAQ. The product, phenomenal. Our payment plan, go check it out. Support and mentorship. I think you can hear our passion, but also our integrity. And that's what we're about. We have incredible leaders of integrity, and we say the truth. Because if we don't, we get in trouble. So I want to thank you so much for coming on and being with myself and Una and Dr. Gail Pearson. We appreciate that you've taken this time to be with us. And if you want to get back and ask anybody, go back to the person that recommended you to this today. And thank you for taking the time to actually hear us. And any questions, you can always message me. Find me up on Facebook, and I'm happy to help anyone. Okay, thank you so much. Goodbye.